During the Clone Wars, General Grievous was perhaps the most feared being in the galaxy. Loyalists the galaxy over were terrified of this half-living slaughterer of billions, as the Revenge of the Sith novelization put it, while even many separatists were uneasy about the Confederacy's Supreme Commander and his ruthless tactics, even if they celebrated his victories. These were numerous, so much so that Grievous was often seen as unstoppable. But of these many victories, there was one that was particularly infamous for how crushing it was: Grievous's first public appearance in the Battle of Hypori. In this video, we'll be giving a full rundown of that terrible battle.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
In the first battle of the Clone Wars, the Grand Army of the Republic took Geonosis, the CIS's main droid factory, by storm, hoping to nip the threat of the CIS droid army in the bud. The Republic failed to crush the droid army completely, but the fall of Geonosis still deprived the Confederacy of its primary factory world, which prevented a more rapid escalation of the early war. The industrial powers that backed the CIS scrambled to shift battle droid production to other factory worlds, increasing production on worlds like Siskine and Olanet. During this period, one factory world in particular became especially important: Hypori. Hypori was a mostly barren, rocky world rich in several kinds of ore, which made it valuable for droid production and other forms of industrial activity. It had been used as a mech world for millennia before the Clone Wars, but during the Separatist crisis, it ramped up production dramatically. At this time, Hypori had fallen into the hands of the Techno Union, which gave it to Bactoid, the Geonosian company that designed and produced the Confederacy's infamous B-series battle droids. Bactoid had a whole hive of Geonosians colonize the planet, building huge Geonosis-style droid factories beneath its surface. In the early months of the Clone Wars, these underground factories became one of the Confederacy's biggest producers of battle droids. 4 months into the Clone Wars, the Republic discovered the Hypori hive and its role in the Separatist war effort. At this time, the Republic was doing pretty well in the war, with Republic forces on Munilinst, Dantooine and Mon Cala all close to achieving major victories. Emboldened by its progress, the Republic decided to press the offensive and capture Hypori, hoping to take it as quickly as it had taken Geonosis. The Republic assembled a massive task force to take Hypori, consisting of more than a dozen Acclamator-class assault ships loaded up with clones and armored vehicles. This task force was led by a whopping 7 Jedi, 5 of them Jedi Masters. These Masters were Ki-Adi-Mundi, Shakti, Dukman Berek, Aayla Secura and Kukruk. They were also accompanied by the Syrian Jedi Knight Tarsier and Barek's human Padawan Giorgi. Barek was made the overall commander of the operation, as his extensive industrial knowledge was deemed essential to disabling Hypori's droid factories. Under General Barek's command, the Republic Task Force set a course for Hypori, but the operation went sideways almost immediately. Republic intel on Hypori was incomplete, and Barek's fleet exited hyperspace right in the middle of an orbital minefield. The mines ripped through Barek's assault ships, throwing the fleet into chaos. Many of Barek's ships were crippled and crashed on Hypori. The rest were all destroyed. To make matters worse, the tattered remnants of the Republic fleet crashed behind enemy lines. It didn't take long for Hypori's droid defenders to completely surround the space wrecks. All 7 of the Jedi and many of their troops survived their crash landings, and they immediately deployed around their assault ships, using the wrecks as makeshift bunkers. But the trouble had only just begun. Unbeknownst to the Jedi, one of the Confederacy's top commanders was stationed on Hypori at the time, General Grievous. Grievous had been fighting for the Confederacy since the start of the war, but at the time, the Republic didn't know that he even existed, as no enemy that caught a glimpse of the droid general had lived to tell the tale. All the Republic had were vague second-hand reports from the first Battle of Geonosis about a killer in the catacombs, slaughtering clone commandos and Jedi Knights alike before fleeing the battle in an unidentified starfighter. In that first battle, Grievous prevented Republic forces from attacking the Separatist Council's command bunker via the Geonosian catacombs, and in subsequent months, he had been deployed for similar important but covert military operations. The Confederacy kept his existence a secret. Count Dooku hoped to use Grievous as a secret weapon when the opportunity arose. Still, Dooku had given Grievous enough missions that he had collected at least 6 lightsabers from fallen Jedi by the time the battle broke out on Hypori. When the Republic assault on Hypori began, Grievous took command of the planet's defense forces, leading them in a merciless offensive against the would-be invasion force. With armies of B-2 super battle droids and OG-9 homing spider droids, Grievous attacked the assault ships one by one, killing every last clone in his path. After sustained fighting, the remaining Republic forces had been pushed back to just one wrecked assault ship, where the task force's Jedi commanders had gathered. Upon learning that there were Jedi with the clones at the final assault ship, Grievous personally took to the field, leading his armies from the front. While his droids encircled the assault ship and subjected it to sustained fire, Grievous sought out General Barrack, whom he fought in a prolonged lightsaber duel. Barrack fled back to the assault ship, but Grievous managed to kill him before he made it inside. Before he fell, however, Barrack had managed to make a quick call to General Kenobi, who had just captured Munilinst for the Republic. Barrack requested an emergency evacuation, but Grievous killed him and cut the feed before the Jedi Master could explain the situation. With Barrack dead, what remained of Republic forces collapsed. All remaining clones were slaughtered by Grievous and his advancing droids. Only the 6 remaining Jedi survived this latest advance. Once the last of the clones were dead, Grievous ordered his troops to cease fire. He wanted to kill the Jedi himself. As the 6 Jedi regrouped in the wrecked assault ship, Grievous announced his intentions to give them each a warrior's death and began his approach. As Grievous approached, one of the Jedi, the now orphaned Padawan Giorgi, panicked and attempted to flee the assault ship. Grievous heard him coming and pounced on the poor young man, crushing him with his clawed feet. After allowing the remaining Jedi to get a brief glimpse of him, Grievous then leapt out of sight into the rafters of the wrecked ship. As the remaining Jedi gathered into a circle and steadily backed deeper into the wreckage, Grievous hung from the ceiling like a bat, waiting for the Jedi to come directly under him. When they did, he drew a pair of lightsabers and dropped. The 5 Jedi were scattered, but they quickly regrouped and began attacking Grievous from all sides. But Grievous fended off their attacks with ease, moving faster than anything the Jedi had ever seen before. His speed and strength eventually scattered the group once more, allowing Grievous to attack the 5 Jedi one at a time. Still weary from the battle and unprepared for Grievous's ferocity, none of them were a match for the droid general. Grievous cut down Kukrook first, then he killed Tarsier and flung Aayla Secura into the ceiling. He severely wounded Shaak Ti next, and he had Ki-Adi-Mundi at his mercy when the Munilinst 10 arrived. The Munilinst 10 were a team of elite ARC troopers, gathered under the command of Captain Fordo for the Battle of Munilinst. After receiving Master Barrack's evac request, Kenobi had sent Fordo and his men to Hypori. Aboard a modified LAAT, the ARC troopers had infiltrated the assault ship and recovered Aayla Secura and Shaak Ti, both of whom were close to death, but still alive. Kukrook, as it would later turn out, had also survived thanks to a deep meditation trance, but he was presumed dead at the time and his body was left on the scene. The ARC troopers managed to surround Grievous while he was busy with Mundi, and when Grievous managed to disarm the Jedi Master, Fordo gave them the order to open fire. The commandos caught Grievous unaware, allowing them to extract Mundi, but it didn't take long for the droid general to recover and begin butchering the assembled ARC troopers. In response, Fordo called in his gunship, which managed to ward Grievous off with a barrage of rockets. With Mundi, Ti and Secura all recovered, the Munilinst 10 returned to their gunship and fled Hypori, leaving the Separatists victorious. Tactically, the Battle of Hypori wasn't terribly significant. The Republic had lost a ton of personnel, sure, but the Grand Army would soon recover. What made Hypori important was the report the surviving Jedi and the Munilants 10 brought back to Coruscant. The story of an unstoppable Jedi-killing droid general. General Grievous had been revealed to the galaxy, and as he took command of the droid armies and started to make himself known on the front lines of the war, loyalist morale began to falter, especially among the Jedi. Before long, the Republic's momentum collapsed, and the Confederacy, under Grievous's direction, quickly took the upper hand in the Clone Wars. So, that was our look at the Battle of Hypori. But what do you think? Are there other Clone Wars battles you'd like us to explore in detail? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.